All right, let's dive into one of Oscar Wilde's most beautiful and honestly heartbreaking stories, The Happy Prince. This isn't just a fairy tale. Oh no, it's designed to make you really think about what we value, things like beauty, wealth, and what happiness even is. So let's get right to it. So, right off the bat, the story hits you with this puzzle. It's a total contradiction, right? I mean, his name is the Happy Prince. So, why on earth is he crying? It's the central mystery that just grabs you from the first page. Okay, to figure that out, we've got to get to know this prince. We need to see what he sees, perched way up high over the city. So picture this. This statue is perched on a massive column, looking down on everyone. And he is absolutely dripping with jewels. We're talking covered in fine gold, with these stunning, bright sapphires for eyes, and a big old ruby glowing on his sword. He's not just a statue, you know. He's basically a giant advertisement for what this city thinks is important. Money, beauty, all the shiny stuff you can see from a mile away. And then, who should show up but our second main character? It's this little swallow, and he's kind of late to the party. All his buddies are already down in Egypt, soaking up the sun, and he's just trying to find a decent spot to crash for the night before he continues his journey. He sees a statue and thinks, hey, a golden bedroom. Perfect. So the swallow gets all comfy between the statue's feet, and then he feels a drop. And another. He's like, what the? There's not a single cloud in the sky. He looks up, and you guessed it, the rain is coming from the statue. This big, beautiful, happy prince has tears streaming down his golden face. How weird is that? And here, my friends, is where we get our answer. The prince tells the swallow his story. See, when he was alive, he lived in this bubble, a palace where nothing sad was ever allowed to enter. He literally didn't know what tears were. They called him the Happy Prince because he was. But now he's stuck up here and he can see everything, all the ugliness, all the misery of his city that was hidden from him before. And even though his heart is made of lead, seeing all that, well, it's enough to make him weep. So what is he seeing exactly? What's so bad that it makes a statue cry? His eyes land on this one little house, and inside there's a seamstress. Her hands are all red and pricked from sewing this gorgeous dress for some rich lady at the palace. Meanwhile, her own little boy is sick, burning up with a fever, and all he wants is an orange. Just an orange. And she can't even afford that. It's this gut-wrenching scene of poverty, totally invisible to the people strolling down the main streets. Well, the prince just can't sit there and watch this happen. He has to do something, and that's where our little swallow comes in. So the prince hatches a plan. He decides to literally give himself away, piece by piece. He asks the swallow to play messenger. First mission, take the ruby from my sword and give it to that sick little boy. Second, take one of my sapphire eyes to a freezing, hungry playwright. And third, take the other sapphire to a poor little girl who dropped her matches in the gutter. Now, the swallow is not exactly thrilled about this plan. He's like, whoa, hold on, it's getting cold here. My friends are waiting for me in Egypt. You can't blame him, right? He's just a bird trying to survive the winter. This isn't really his problem. But he does it. He takes the ruby. And when he comes back, something strange happens. He says, you know, it's weird. I actually feel warm, even though it's freezing out. And the prince tells him, that's what happens when you do something good. And you can just feel it. Right there, that's the moment something starts to shift inside our little swallow. And that feeling just grows. He takes one sapphire, then the next, leaving the prince totally blind. And seeing the prince give up his actual sight for others, that's it for the swallow. He completely forgets about Egypt. He looks at the blind statue and says, I will stay with you always. But their story isn't over, not by a long shot. The prince might be blind now, but he has the swallow to be his eyes, and this leads them to their biggest sacrifice yet. The prince tells the swallow, fly over my city and tell me what you see. And what he sees is just awful. He sees the rich in their fancy houses laughing and drinking, while right outside their gates, beggars are freezing. He sees little kids with pale, hungry faces huddled in dark alleyways. The problem isn't just one or two people. The whole city is broken. And the prince's reaction is immediate. He says, take my gold, all of it, peel it off leaf by leaf and give it to the poor. So the swallow does. He strips the prince bare until all that expensive gold is gone, and the statue just looks dull and gray. He's given away everything that made him beautiful to the outside world. But
The weather doesn't wait. The frost and snow arrive, and the little swallow, he's just too cold. He knows he isn't going to make it. He flies up to the prince's shoulder one last time and whispers that he's not going to Egypt, he's going to the house of death. And then he kisses the prince and falls down dead.
And at that very moment, the exact moment the swallow dies, a strange sound comes from inside the gray statue, a sharp crack. The prince's lead heart, which had already seen so much suffering, just couldn't take losing its friend. It snapped right in two.
So now, the story turns back to the city, to the people. How are they going to react to all this?
Well, the mayor and his buddies walk by, see the ugly gray statue and the dead bird at its feet, and they are disgusted. The local art professor chimes in, well, he's not beautiful anymore, so he's not useful anymore. Can you believe that? So they tear the statue down, melt it, and toss the broken lead heart and the dead swallow onto a pile of garbage.
But that's not the end of the story, because there's another judgment coming, a much higher one. God tells an angel, go to that city and bring me the two most precious things you can find. Now, after all we've seen, what do you think they could be?
The angel flies right past all the gold in the treasury, all the jewels in the shops, and what does he pick up? The two things lying on the trash heap, the broken lead heart and the little dead bird.
And God says you have chosen well, because in heaven, in paradise, the little bird will sing forever, and the happy prince will be praised. The very things the world threw away as trash were actually the most precious of all. What an incredible ending.
And that's what this story leaves us with, right? It's a challenge. It's asking us to really think, to look past all the shiny, golden surfaces in our own world and ask ourselves, what's actually valuable? Is it the stuff we have, or is it the love we give?